Alright everybody, this is Rennie for 4 Degrees Motorbike Adventures. Welcome to the channel. And today I am going to try to solve an issue that I have in my back brake, which I'm not sure how that happened, but anyway, there seems to be air in the system. And I've done a couple of things already in order to try to fix this issue. I've bled the system. I've saw on the internet some guy that was actually tapping the brake to take the hairs out, and it came a few air, some of the air came out. On the bleeding, some of the air came out as well. And I've bled already the system about 3 times now, and nothing is coming out besides the oil. I've already also hang a weight on the brake pedal and left overnight. So I say that would help like the air to rise, and then try to bleed it again the next day, but the same problem still happened. It improved a bit, but nothing major. Took the bike out for a ride yesterday, and yeah, the back brakes is very soft, and so I need to actually sort that out. Today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from the calipers. I'm gonna actually take the pads out again. I'm going to clean the pistons and clean everything there and make sure everything's clean. I'm gonna squeeze the piston back in all the way and try to see if the air behind the piston, if there's air behind the piston, maybe come out. If that doesn't work, then I'm gonna try to reverse bleeding the system. I've looked at the internet a couple of times now, and I need a big syringe, which is my issue. I have a small one, so I see if I can find one. But we start with the cleaning process first and see how does it help. And yeah, so let's try to see what's that. The funny thing is, nothing was changed in the back brakes. It was only the pads that I changed. And since then I started this issue. I have no leaks on the lines. I've checked that already, or the reservoir, or even the master cylinder. I did do a caliper rebuild on the front, and I took the one piston out and it was stuck, and I replaced the seals, and the front brake works perfectly. And for somehow the back brake started acting. I don't know what's the story. So yeah, we'll try to do this. Let's do that. See what's happening. Do is I'm gonna start to take the caliper out and clean the pistons, as I said. I might have to disconnect this here because I wanted to lift the caliper a bit, and possibly I have to disconnect this guy here as well. We'll see, to make sure I can clean, because changing the pads is easy. You can just flip the caliper like this, but in order to get access to the caliper out, I have to actually remove these things here. Yeah, so let's do and see what's happening, because I'm running out of options at the moment, and I hope it's not an issue with the master cylinder, but read a few threads on the internet yesterday, and seems to be the master cylinder was an issue. My brake pedal will be going all the way down, which is not. There is pressure, but it's not enough, and when I pump, and the pressure becomes normal again. So most people saying it's most likely air in the system. Alright everybody, so what I done is I popped out the pin, I popped out the piston out as far as I could. I clean it with the brake fluid. I then squeeze the piston all the way in to flatten out, just to make sure that the piston got stuck in anywhere. And then I install the pads back again, and install the pins and everything else. So I'll put it back in sim stand now, and so have a go now and see what's the story now. Clean it up a little bit here. I didn't want to take the caliper off because I'll have to take these holes out. Just taking this clip here, it doesn't do the job, so I have to take this off because the caliper has to swing all the way back in order to come out. Okay, and I don't want to do that because if I have air inside, I will be introducing more air inside, and then I'll start from the beginning where I had these bubbles coming out. So anyway, let's give it a go. Let's see. Alright, so basically no, it didn't do the job. What's happening is if I press the brake the first time, it doesn't engage. The second to third time it starts engaging, and after that is fine. But then when you wait a little bit and release, it goes back to the same way it was before. You won't engage until the second or third time you try. So I guess my next option now is to reverse bleeding this system to see maybe if there is something trapped in here or whatever. We'll see. I'll try that. Let me get my setup now, see if I can get a syringe. I might have to get a new bottle of oil because that one is not sure if it's going to be enough. We can try with that one and see, and then I can get another one. So yeah, let's assemble the stuff here and get ready for that. Morning everybody, morning. Day 2 here, actually no, day 3. So tell you exactly what I done. So today I left my lever, I pushed the lever down and I tied it with the cord, and I left overnight. I then reversed yesterday. I reverse bled the system, right, using this syringe here, and I connected to the bleeder here, and I reverse bleed the system. And so last night I left my lever down as I said, and today what I done was I left the lever the way it was. I connect the pipe empty here again on the bleeder here, and I release the valve, and I then use the syringe as a vacuum to pull out the oil from the inside. Then what I done is close the valve, I released the pedal, and then I did again another reverse bleeding. I fill up my syringe here with full of oil, and then I reverse bleeding the system again. Then what I did was I just closed the valve again, and I did just a regular bleeding from top down. I also did something here which somebody told me on the internet, which is just to do this with the lever, and a few bubbles came out from the reservoir here, and so the verdict is that it improved a lot. So not 100% yet, but I'd say 90%, you know. And now I have, like, my lever, it's not a sponge anymore, and it works I think 90%. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take the bike out for a spin later on. I just want to make sure that I shake all of these pipes, that they shake, and maybe the whatever air just continue there, if there is any, goes up to the reservoir and then come out. And then tomorrow, tonight, I would actually put my lever down again and see. But it's much better now. It's before I had to pump 3 or 4 times on the lever here in order to get any pressure. Now the pressure is there automatically, and I can actually at least take the bike out. So that's it, guys. So let's just see what happens. Alright guys, so out and about. Brakes, yeah, improved a bit, but not fully 100%. So I have to figure out what's my next move. The next one is to take the caliper off, take the connections for the holes, and try to hang the caliper up so we can see if this air comes out. Right, and then if that doesn't work, start looking at the seals for the piston, which I don't think this is the problem, but anyway, 4th day. Right. We'll see. Bleeding the system here, the Master Hogger.
Seems to be a lot of really fine bubbles in there. But obviously still dislodges some air somewhere, which it then drags through.
That's a huge one, there.
But you might want to suck a little bit out now instead of pumping it back in. There's
there you go.
Another one. See these? I think we want to suck that out now and just try, just in case there's...
Yeah, just in case if it's coming from that hole.
It can't really, because there's pressure in it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing.
Alright, so. Alright, good afternoon everybody, and just here now, just giving an update on the gear brake issue. So yesterday, as you've seen, I was pressurizing the system with Hogger, and that improved a little bit. You can see it as well, there was a lot of air coming off from the reservoir, but it didn't improve 100%. It was still a bit soft, but much better than it was before. So I was actually wondering what to do next, right? Because I ran out of options, to be honest with you. Some people were saying to try to hang the caliper over the master cylinder, but as you can see, the pipe is going behind the exhaust pipe, and if I was to do that, I would have to disconnect the pipe, which to defeat the purpose, because I would actually add more air into the side of the system. So just as things were going from bad to worse, I didn't know what to do next. One of my subscribers had to comment on my channel regarding the front brake. Now, this is what I actually got surprised, because as I said to you, nothing was done on the gear brake at the time, but I did actually rebuild on one of the seals in the front left caliper. After I done that, I bled the system and everything was fine. The front brake was working properly, but when I start changing the pads and the back brake, that's I noticed that the brake wasn't working. I was just totally spongy, it wasn't responding. So this subscriber left a comment for me saying that both brakes, the center piston of the front left caliper, it's operated by the gear brake pedal. So
when you brake here, what it does is the center piston on the front left operates. I'm not sure exactly why this is designed like that, but that's how it is. So anyway, after he left a message, I went back to the manuals and I started looking to see if there's anything saying about that. There was nothing saying about that, except if you look at the diagram of the braking system, you can see that they are connected. And my issue then was the fact that I had took the caliper off, the left caliper off, to do the seals. But when I did that, then basically I introduced the air on the line that goes from the back brake to the front, and that would not allow me to bleed the system. Now, talking about bleeding the system, when you do a regular bleeding of the back brake, as you can see, we do a bleeding by using the bleeding valve here in the front, in the back here. And that's okay if you actually are going to flush your system, replace your oil here and things like that. So when you actually do the front brake, the left brake, if you have a look at the left brake, there's two bleeding valves on the left brake. There's one on the top and one on the bottom, right? And basically the one on the top is for bleeding the system for the front brake, and the one in the bottom is for you to bleed the system for the back brake. So basically, if you do any work on the left caliper, on the front left caliper, that needs to be bled, you should try to bleed the back brake as well. And that in order to do that, you just do like the same thing. You pressurize this, hold it, and go to the front caliper and the bottom bleeder, and you bleed that. And that basically what was my problem. I had air on that line which goes from the back to the front, and that no matter what I did would actually come, the air wouldn't come out. So when I just bled the system there, the brake comes back fully normal. Now, the recommendations for the manual when you actually bleeding is to do that first. You bleed that first using the back brake, and then you bleed the back brake normally as you do by just open up this valve and then bleeding the system. But anyhow, so the brakes are working now 100%, and I'm glad that I got that sorted. To be honest with you, I didn't know exactly what else to do. I didn't want to bring it to a mechanic because I already spent so much time for that. But I think like if I couldn't have to figure out in a couple more days, I would probably have to do that because I ran out of options. Anyway, guys, so my recommendation for you then is, if you are doing any work on your front left brake system that needs to be taken the caliper off, that you do a bleeding not only for the front but also for the back brake, and use the bottom bleeder valve for that. Alright, so thanks guys for watching. Thanks very much for my subscriber to make that comment. It saved me a lot of hassle, even though like I spent 4 days on this, but you know, it saved me going to a mechanic and after all of that. And you know, so there you go. We live in Ireland and share information. That's the good thing about this this community. So thanks very much guys for that, and thanks very much for sharing this information with me. Hope this will save some people there plenty of times. I had to spend 4 days on this, and probably 2 and something liters of oil trying to get this brake sorted. So thanks guys for watching. See you guys next time.